Well, like you said, the eulogy, everything about him shows how important Maradona is. There are actually Europa League games today, and nobody's really talking about it. It's not even trending. Yesterday, I was seeing everything about Maradona trending. The name Diego Maradona, Napoli trending, Hand of God trending. It shows how important, how much of people he touched while playing. Yes, of the few distractions, but we don't care about it because we know Maradona, the footballer. And everything about Maradona's football is very, very iconic. Well, it's a sad loss to life, sad loss for Napoli that they had to say they'll likely name their stadium after him. But definitely, we can't begin to mention how important he was to Argentina as a country. Let me pick a word from, I listened to the Diamote when he said something. He said, number 10, legendary start, all of those things are generational. That if you check people in their late 50s, 60s, they will always tell you it is Pele. Those probably in their 40s right now, late 30s will be telling it's Maradona. And the younger folks, there's nothing you will tell them that's with Ronaldo, Messi. No matter what. So I think it's more of the generational thing. There were talks of maybe they should retire the number 10. But when you think of Lionel Messi wearing number 10 now, you will not even think about it. They are definitely not the same, especially for Argentina. When people call Messi the greatest footballer of all time, people will tell you he's not even the greatest
in his country.
In his country. So I think it will be remembered. The number 10 will be remembered. Now you have to start thinking, who was worn number 10? You have to think, Ronaldinho did, yeah. But you won't take a blink to remember the name Maradona. At all. You will not. So I think I agree with you. It's the flashiest in code number 10.
There's been a lot of fame.
Well, one unique thing about him, I remember, I can't remember, I read and saw
later on, not when it happened.
He couldn't go for the 78 World Cup. He was too young. The 82 World Cup, that's where problems
got red carded.
He was too young. And then when you look at football, then you know it's a completely different ballgame. People were not kicking. I think
they don't have the kind of protection that they have now.
If you touch any player's jersey, the ref
just goes down.
Penalty. Then he was frustrated till he got sent off. Then came back 4 years later as a more matured player, a Don. And every England international will always remember the hand of God. If for nothing, the hand of God. And the second goal, I think a commentator in Nigeria was like 11 seconds, 6 players are down. And it took about 11, 12 touches from his half to the opposition half, including rounding the goalkeeper, then scoring. You cannot look at Maradona and tell me you can't say play. And one of the best things he ever done, yes, he won the World Cup with Argentina, a great achievement. He, like people are saying he won it alone, yes, but he was probably the main figure. But winning the league with Napoli. The year before he joined Napoli, they finished 11th. Immediately joined, they moved up to 8th. The following year, I think they moved up to 3rd or 4th. Then the next thing, 2 years after I joined them, they won the Scudetto. And they didn't win it once. They won it again. They won the Coppa Italia. They won Europa League.
You know what?
Roma winning the league in those years was something huge. Even Napoli winning the league today would be a big deal. Then imagine then their first Scudetto ever. So
but this man made it happen for them. And the truth is, they will never forget.
Never. Maradona almost divided the nation Italy. After scoring the penalty that sent Italy packing, the entire nation was against him. But Naples,
this is our man.
This is our man. He represented his country. We don't care what he does for his country, but
this one
is a legend, and everywhere he goes, like you rightly said, we've not even mentioned his hometown. Fortunately for him, he was born in Buenos Aires and he died there. But I'm saying his adopted nation. To think of most of those that they named stadiums after are people that probably spent 10, 20 years, or they were born, they grew up there. But it's not the same story with Maradona. He came there as a growing or a known superstar in quotes, and he did not disappoint. Remember his stint at Barcelona was just there, but Napoli, he did not disappoint. Like you rightly said, they brought them to the face of the map. That, there's actually a club. Okay, let me put it this way. He winning the league with Napoli then was like, let's say West Ham now or West Brom. You know, West Ham are always in the mix, or maybe Everton. They are not making Europe. They are not going to relegation. They're just a mid-table team. Then Bolu now joining Everton today, and boom, Everton. He didn't do it alone. There is a certain Brazilian that was a strike partner with him, but we all know Maradona was a superstar.
Instrumental,
hugely. And they won the league. And they didn't just win and went back to maybe a Leicester. They won the league, and 2 years after won again. And in the space of 2-3 years, they won the Europa Cup. They won it. So you just can't mention Napoli today. You can't mention their achievements and success today. You have to add that name, Diego Armando Maradona. Trying to show their respect. They are still in line in queue, but they just have to, and everyone understands why the president of Argentina, not the mayor of Buenos Aires, the president of the country have to declare days of mourning. It just goes to show how important Maradona was. I think there was a war a few years before the 86 World Cup, and the death and everything. Maradona, we can win the World Cup. You know, there's talk and talk, and there's talk and do.
Yeah.
Maradona is the definition of talk and do. As a young boy leading the entire nation, I'm thinking to myself, in the Super Eagles, if you are putting, even being a 25-year-old to lead your team, that's a huge honor on its own, and he did not disappoint. Don't forget, he led them to another World Cup final, even though they lost in the final to Germany, West Germany, thanks to a penalty. But Maradona's impact is forever. When anyone mentions, I tell people, I respect Ronaldo, I respect Messi. Probably because of my generation, there are those I rate so much. But no matter how much you mention Messi's greatness, if you talk about Messi and Argentina, if Messi scores 1,000 goals for Argentina, if he leads them to win the next World Cup, nobody will still compare Messi to Argentina, to Maradona as an Argentine. It was a complete package. And like we said earlier, in those days, they don't play football.
Yeah.
They play both the man and the football.
Yeah.
And these guys still stood out. If you check the clips of the 82 World Cup and the clips of the 86, you will see the difference in how thick Maradona had grown in 4 years. Probably he said to himself, I have to be stronger.
I have to deal with this.
He had to, and the fact that he was low gravity gave him a huge... He doesn't fall.
And it was...
Maradona does not fall. Well, if you can't remember anything Maradona did at Barcelona, you should remember one thing. The fans at the Santiago Bernabeu stood up and applauded Maradona. It meant if nothing happened, if you can't remember that day, you can't see the clips. Okay, remember Real
They've
Madrid
only done it for few players.
Ronaldinho was the second. I think Iniesta as well. But remember
only
Ronaldinho's
3 people have enjoyed that
at the Bernabeu that day. Then imagine what Maradona would have done few or maybe 10 years or 20 years before that.
All right.
Madrid fans are probably one of the hardest fans you can ever see in world football. And for them to do that, not just for any opposition fan, for a Barcelona player, it means he did something great. He played about 30-something league goals and scored 22 league goals. So I think he did so well for Barcelona. Too short, but well, the small stint was very key.
Yeah.
Chimechi made mention of something that is very key, your lifestyle afterwards. But sometimes it's difficult for these players, especially those that start very early, become a superstar very early, and money is coming in. That's
deal
where
with
you
all of
need
the
people around
fame.
you. But before I move on, I saw a story today. A senior colleague said his boss back in the days was fortunate enough to get to Argentina. He went to Maradona's house to show how accommodating he was with his family, that he needed to interview Maradona. But unfortunately, his mom, as at then, was the only one who could speak English. And she was like, she doesn't want to see a black man in her house. It was like, okay, it meant no harm. Just here for an interview. And she was like, nobody interviews the God.
Okay.
It shows how, not just the country, even his family sees him as a God. So who are you to just think you can talk to Maradona? So I think he left a huge legacy. And for anyone to feel into that, probably you have to win 3 World Cup for Argentina like Pele.
Like Pele was saying.
But even if you do, I'm not sure we can see another. Maradona's generation is gone. Nothing. You can come and probably beat his record or whatever, but I'm not sure you can replace that name Maradona.
All right.
Many people disagree with me, and I tell them that last season Liverpool won the league. They were outstanding and everything. But interestingly, their players individually were not outstanding like they were 2 years ago. But it's difficult for you not to rate them because they won the league first in 30 years. You cannot ignore Kevin De Bruyne, the best player in the Premier League by a mile, ahead of everyone. Thiago Alcantara, well, there's nothing new to say. Remember at the point he was on the bench. But due to the injury of the right back, he had to come into the mix where Kimmich went back, and he was solid. If you can't remember nothing, for the final, you could say this boy is a baller. Liverpool had to go all out to get him. I think he deserved to be there. Ronaldo battled it out to win the highest scorer in the Serie A, but he could not, thanks to Ciro Immobile, who decided he would keep scoring. And Juventus won the league. But the only problem I have in this top 10 is Lionel Messi.
Okay.
I like Messi, but Messi should not be on the list for 2020 because he just scored post-lockdown. He scored his only goal from open play, I think, last week for both club and country.
All right.
He's awesome. So for me, I think my top 3, this is hard. Definitely Robert Lewandowski has one now. I'm being pushed to say Sergio Ramos for Real Madrid winning the league. His goals, he scored the records, he said everything last year. If he gets there, I won't be surprised. And Neymar, too, for helping PSG get to the final of the Champions League. But I think 3 of Lewandowski, Ramos, Neymar, and De Bruyne should make the top 3.
Okay.
For whatever reason, Asisa Oshola, I think, should be there.
Okay.
Because, like they say, numbers speak for themselves. And we have 2 Barcelona players here.
Is it the Nigerian that you're speaking?
Not. That's why I said numbers speak for itself. Asisa Oshola probably has almost 100% goal to game ratio for Barcelona. And I think I saw her tweet this morning. I was just laughing that, well, she's laughing that numbers speak for itself. At least, if for nothing, the Barcelona players here, her stats are more superior than the Barcelona players who made it to this list. But you can't take anything away from the likes of Lucy Bronze and everyone. But it had to also pick, but I think for whatever reason, I'll go for Lucy Bronze. She's been very close to winning it for a while. So I won't be surprised if she gets it. I think I'll go for Hansi Flick. For a man winning the treble, he has won more trophies than the games he has lost.
Yeah,
it's difficult. Remember, I came on, I think November, December last year, and he changed everything. He's one of the coaches that this is my formation, nothing changes it. Yeah. He picked his first 11, and the only thing that changes anything is maybe suspension or injury. So winning 3 trophies and plus the Super Cup, everything, I think it has to be Hansi Flick. All right. Women's football club side, I don't think anything beats Olympic Lyon for now. So I think it has to be one look for the Women's Coach of the Year.
Okay, so that's it.
First of all, I think the leading runner is Patrice Motsepe. He's been in the line. Everyone, or almost everyone, are saying this is probably the contender to become the president. But Cass, you never can tell when Cass will give you. Remember, Samson yes, is still waiting for his own verdict. For Cass, you never can tell. It can take a year. And this pandemic period, they are not just jumping to anything. It takes process. But immediately the report came out, I would have been surprised if it was not suspended or banned, whichever language they use. And from everything FIFA came out with, I think it's only UEFA that lose battles. I'm not sure FIFA lose battles. They probably would have gone deep, and they came up with mismanagement of funds.
And there's been a case of, was it being a match?
Yeah, I think the only thing he can get from all this is probably just clear your name, so maybe he can still run.
But as for with regards to the election,
for CAF presidency, I think it's game over for Ahmad Ahmad. And well, let's see what happens. According to him, he's not guilty. And he said he's running to CAF. I have to clear my name. But I think it's game over for anything called political in Africa, because if the ban stands, that means he can't run next year. By the time the next election in almost 5 years will come, the ban will still be on. By then, so he's 60 now. He was 68 for the second election. So are we saying he's going to run again? So I think it's game over for him. Just go, if you can clear your name, clear. And if you can't, just look for something else to do and abandon football. End up playing this final. Remember, they've moved from moving semi-final, second leg and everything. We don't even know what to expect. We don't know when they'll play. Maybe it will end up becoming another Copa del Rey. Remember, they've not played last season's Copa del Rey. Their own was even funny. They could have played no coronavirus, but they said it point blank, we are not playing without our fans due to the Basque rivalry and everything. But I just want to see the CAF Champions League final. I think, like you rightly said, they have a large squad. If they can test it, maybe CAF should do what they did for national teams, this last international. If you have up to 15 players, just move on. Remember what UEFA told the club sides in Europe.
You know,
I think for male and female, the top team in quotes is the NSCDC and Custom. They are choking head, but I like the way they split. 1-1 for male, the other one for ladies. No surprise at all. 3-0, no break. They didn't drop a set at all. And the one that dropped set a bit is the third place match between NSCDC and the Sunshine Sparks, which ended 3-1 for the men NSCDC. But obviously, their women did what they could not do. Like they say, what the man can do, man can do better.
All right.
I thought Coates, the chief of army staff, could get to the final, but they lost. And in the third place, they won straight 3-0 against Kada Emerald. So I think it's a good start for them in the Super Cup. Now, we've been talking about handball. Now it's volleyball.
Yeah.
Well, I think I like the progress step by step. Everyone is moving on. No surprise here. Good win for both the men and the women. And let's see when the competition will start.
All right.
They just have to play well, not because Nigeria have to win or anything, but most of these guys are not part of the major team in quotes, so they have to prove the coach wrong. You can't tell me a coach like Mike Brown doesn't know talent.
When he sees
too experienced, so I think it's more like the boys know what is at stake and they have to give their best. They won 3 of the 4 quarters, only lost the 3rd quarter, and the final one was more like a stroll. I think it was 27 or thereabout. So they know what is at stake. They know Olympics, 2020 Tokyo Olympics, which will be played 2021, is at stake. So I won't be surprised if they stroll throughout this event to qualify for AfroBasket. Convince the coach. Many basketball followers, many NBBF followers have told us that these guys, none of them will make it to the Olympic Games. But I keep telling them, if you convince the coach enough at this tournament, he has no choice. He just have to give you a shot.
All right.